assume that this is part 2 of my interview with an INFJ.
Probably smart.
Because we're running pretty long, and I think that we have a lot of good material. We could probably take it a little bit further.
And a lot of horrifying material that you'll never see.
So, when we left off, we were talking about strengths, and we're going to just burn through the next few, and you can just give me, a few words on how they relate to you.
Sounds good.
So, decisive.
I could work on that.
I think that also ties into like making that vision a reality.
Absolutely.
Determined and passionate.
I definitely think this is true. I'm sort of a Slytherin too. That's right, INFJ Slytherin.
What?
Weird.
Okay.
I know, right? Yeah, and I'm very, very ambitious and determined, and I think of myself as a person who's pretty driven. So.
Yeah, actually you are.
Yeah.
You definitely are.
Yeah.
You're like, besides me, you're like the only other person I know that I like know pretty well that studied writing and is like, no, I'm seriously determined to make this thing happen. Like,
for sure.
It's important to me.
I've had contests and like journals and.
Yeah, you submit. You get rejected constantly.
I do.
You know what? That's the first step.
That is the first step. Stephen King used to collect rejections.
Stephen King, we know you're watching.
We know you're watching this. Stephen King used to collect rejections on a nail, and that always really resonated with me when I read that in an interview, or one of my friends may have told me. Who knows who?
And eventually, not that I know anything about this, but eventually he started getting more acceptances than rejections, and it was like a palpable thing, tangible, right in front of him.
Absolutely, he could see it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
Good for
Keep
you,
it up.
Stephen King. Yeah, we really support you.
How do you feel about your altruism?
I feel pretty altruistic. I have this thing where, like, I have a crippling anxiety disorder, and it makes it kind of hard for me to do things sometimes. So I feel like altruism is also something I could develop more. It's sometimes hard for me to get outside my space and my head to, like, really, like, I don't know, actively help others, and I want to do more of that.
Yeah, I think of myself as a theoretical
Yeah,
altruist.
but does that even count? Like,
No,
that's a whole philosophical discussion we could have. Like, I don't wish ill on people generally, but if you're not actually helping them.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, now
you heard it here first. We're only theoretical altruists.
Maybe that should be the name of my channel. All right, now we're going to talk about weaknesses of the INFJ.
I'm ready.
So, sensitive.
Yeah, we touched on this earlier. I'm a very sensitive person, and I feel like a lot of the INFJs I've met are in a variety of ways. So.
Yeah, that's also been my experience.
Mm-hmm. What other INFJs do you know? Are you INFJ cheating on me right now? Who else are you friends with?
Well, honestly, maybe this is a symptom of like gross mistyping, but a lot of my friends claim to be like. Aaron says that he's an INFJ.
You know, I'd give him that one. Maybe your INFJs are drawn to you.
Yeah, they're a magnet.
They're supposed to be types that get along a little better, so you never know.
Yeah. The INTP INFJ pairing is supposed to be the golden pair. But
yeah, where did you hear that from?
I made it up.
Supposedly, those types do tend to get along better.
But I think that's what some people say. But I think that's like a thing perpetuated by INTPs.
Fair. They're trying to lure the INFJs in.
Like generally what I see is that people think that the second letter should be the same, but all the other letters should be flipped. So ENTP would be actually better.
Okay.
Just like because it's more like you're balanced in the like sensory intuitive way, but then like you provide more variety. I personally think that, I prefer people who are introverts, and so when I was an introvert, I still wanted to be with, when I thought of myself as an introvert.
Maybe now you're an extrovert, and your whole life makes sense, and that's why you wanted to be around introverts.
It does make sense, because I was always like, people say that the ideal type for an INTP is the ESFJ, because it's like the functions are all flipped.
Yeah.
And all the letters are flipped. But I was like, but I like ISFJs more when I meet them. I just like a quiet kind of...
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then if I am an ENTP, then that would make sense. That would be the flip. Yeah.
I tend to like extroverts more. They draw me out of my shell. They convince me to leave the house. Like, I am an introvert, so I would believe it. Laura and I get along like a house on fire, you know? How that happens. So, and she's an extrovert, so...
I like that saying. Like
a house on fire. Have I mentioned Laura too much?
Okay. Are you perfectionistic?
Yes, I have very strong tendencies towards that.
You know, I really can't tell based on the quality of this interview. I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be a weakness.
Okay.
I guess I could see it. Always needing to have a cause.
So it depends on what you mean by cause. I agree with this and I identify with it because because I pick up and put down projects and like things like that like no one else's business. So like as far as always needing to like have something that I'm sort of fiddling with or that I'm working towards, definitely, no matter what it is. So.
I took this in a different way, but reading it seems to align more with what you're saying. It's saying like being caught up in the passion of a pursuit, having like a goal that you're working towards. Yeah. I was thinking more like you get really fired up about like some particular like political thing, and then you let go of it and you move on to something else. But it makes sense and it does apply.
Which is why I think the full iteration of the type is when you can take those causes and actually like focus on one and take up space and like really see it through. I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I struggle with that a lot. So.
Yeah, because if you do always want to have something to do, but you don't always excel at implementing, then it's just like a dangling to-do
I tried to go to graduate school for like 5 years where I was like, I should maybe do this thing. Yeah. And it's only been after a significant amount of time. You know, I don't really blame myself for that, but it's only been after a significant amount of time that I've actually managed to do that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good job, though. I mean, you got there. Yeah. That's what's most important.
For sure. I'm excited about it.
Okay, so finally, you can burn out easily.
I think that's definitely part of the introvert part of this type, to be honest. Because I think if I have too many causes and too many people and whatever else, I may have the best of intentions. I'm an INFJ, but it's very easy to burn out. It's part of that like highly sensitive person thing. Like it can be too much and I can kind of shut down. You know what I mean? So would it make you unhappy to be an extroverted person? Like what do you think about it? Does it make you feel weird, like you're doubting yourself? Oh, the interview's been flipped, son. That's
actually a very predominant INFJ thing I've noticed. Is that they won't let you talk about them too much. They won't let you get enough out of them. They it's really accurate. There's a wall. There's a shell.
Or maybe we're just curious about you. We just want to draw you out. Oh God, keep that in. We just want to draw you out. You don't have to answer this.
I don't mind that it's more balanced, but so wait, you're asking if I would find it uncomfortable to be
an extrovert. I feel like a lot of your life you talked about being an introvert.
Yeah.
Would that paradigm shift be difficult for you?
It would.
Or has it been?
It would be difficult. Like I really have pinned a lot of my identity on that, and I've used being an introvert as an excuse. Like, well, yeah, no wonder I didn't talk to this girl. I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
All these opportunities are passing me by, but that's just who I am. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if it really matters for me, I'll go for it. And
indeed,
it's funny because even like the idea of identifying with a new type, it's like I'm changing the way that I think about myself, and I'm rewiring the way that I think about myself, and I'm even like cracking jokes with people that I would never talk to, and I'm just a lot more forward. I'm a lot more comfortable, and it's hard to like tease that apart from like being medicated and having spent a long time focusing on my mental health in general. But I'm not uncomfortable with it. There's like a little bit of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm pretty happy. Like, I'm pretty pleased with the idea that like the way that I'm labeling myself can completely reframe my reality.
You almost wonder how much of it is psychosomatic in some ways. Yeah. Where like the fact that you're identifying that way, like I don't know if you can look at it like it's helping you ease into the role and it really is what you are. Yeah. Or you could look at it like just the act of thinking I am this thing is making me this thing.
Yeah, you're growing into the
weird.
Role.
Yeah,
you're aspiring your way into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Finally, I wanted to ask, what do you think works well about our dynamic as friends? And I'll weigh in if I can think of anything.
I think I've talked about one of my weaknesses being that I don't always take up space.
Okay.
And I don't always, and you even made a very astute observation earlier where you're like, INFJs won't let you talk. They won't let you talk about them for very long, right? But as I've struggled to be a person who takes up more space in conversations or spaces or like really finding my way in that, you're always a person who's sort of like offered me a lot of space in conversations to talk. You've asked me questions about myself. And like that's something I really, really value in people. Is people who sort of give me the opportunity to meet them on another level. This is probably also an INFJ thing that's very much more than just like small talk or, you know, whatever else. Like people that will get kind of deep with me and then in return just like I don't know, like give it back and then like really seek it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. And I think that's part of the introverted thinking, extroverted feeling axis. Like the fact that, so we're both kind of like offset by one in that direction. So like, I don't know if you know that much about the functions. Like, I don't know how deep you've gotten. I don't know enough
to talk on them. Okay. I probably know enough about mine. Yeah. But yeah.
So you are introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, and that would also explain like being the extroverted introvert. Yeah. Like you get a lot out of like interacting with people and like when your feelings are more oriented towards like the group.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I notice group dynamics really heavily. Yeah.
So yeah, introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted thinking would be your third. And so for me, it's introverted thinking second, extroverted feeling third. So like those two are the middle functions are flipped for us. Okay. But they're still like probably relatively close and strength.
Close enough that they can
Yeah, and I think that like as far as, so both of us are concerned about like the emotional atmosphere like of the other person that we're with. And then like the introverted thinking, I think is like kind of like you're mapping out how they feel. You want to build a framework, so you're asking the right kind of questions.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think there's a parallel there.
All I know is that we sort of have a rapport, and that I don't have that with everyone. Yeah. I've noticed lately that I'm not to drag other types, but people who have less of like an emotional sense of the room and of the group and whatever else, like it's just a little bit harder for me to be around sometimes. Some of those people. Just because for me, I'm constantly aware of those things. So, I don't know. Take what you will from that. I'm not trying to say other types are bad.
I'm the same way, though. Like, there are times when somebody will say something, and it's somebody who's obviously not thinking about that, like how their actions are impacting, or their words are impacting
for sure.
the emotional vibe. Yeah. And I'll just, like, I can't help but to, like, look around, like, anybody else seeing this?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's like being on the emotional same page.
Yeah, and it's kind of comforting to have that in a group setting sometimes too, to just know there's another person there where like sometimes things will happen and you'll just look at each other, and like I'll do this with Laura as well, where just like there's sort of a dynamic where like, you know, or like you'll find certain things funny from like old inside jokes. It feels like we're sort of building this little world together when we hang out, and like we keep all the pieces of it still. No matter how much time passes. And the people I have that with are absolutely usually my closest friends. So, not to get real, man.
No, get real.
Going on the Oregon Trail.
The big O.
The big O. Gotta stop calling it that.
What's wrong with that?
It sounds like orgasm. The big orgasm. The big O.
I know. That's what I've been saying. But what's wrong with that? Oh my gosh. I actually have a shirt from... I think my junior year of college, where I was part of the orientation team.
Oh my god!
And it just says the O team.
No.
And my dad was like, "What's the O team?"
Oh boy! Were you part of the O team, Jeffrey? I was not as a freshman. I was not on
as a freshman
team. Yeah. Oh, called out. We'll just cut this part. We'll just cut this whole part.
What do you mean? Like, self-inflicted or no?
Self-inflicted.
Okay. We're gonna wrap this up in just a minute. Oh wait, that was it. Did you answer my final question?
Yeah, that was the final question. Actually, do we have an outro song? I've lost my ukulele.
It's down here.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do the outro.
I've only ever played this thing like for
Literally
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Let me figure out my chords.
Nice. A minor. C.
Nope.
You can make a song out of just those two, I believe.
You could. It's the outro. Time to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Adam Levine right here, folks.
No.
It's the outro. Time to say goodbye.
You're making fun of Adam Levine right now?
Yes.
I think he sounds good. What? I know.
All right.
Opinions. Anyway.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit like and subscribe.